committee to order. Note that Sylvia's out on a trip, so she did let us know that she would not be here earlier. Commissioner Boyd, if you would mind saying a prayer.
Sure. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful day that we've had today. This is a great time of year. The weather's fantastic, and we're so thankful for it, dear Lord. Thank you for this community and this county that we have. Please bless this meeting tonight, dear Lord, and please help us to do everything in your will and the way that you would want it done, dear Lord. Please bless each and every person in the room. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Is that football weather?
It is football weather. It is football weather.
It is football weather. All right, the first item on our agenda will be the approval of the August 15th, 2023 Law Enforcement Committee minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next on the agenda will be the reports. First up is animal control. I think you have a copy of that in your packet.
I think so.
Hello. I don't have anything to add to the report. If anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to take them though.
Anyone have any questions for animal control?
Everybody's full. Yeah.
Commissioner Vick did come and adopt a dog though. Yeah, we are very full. Guys, if you know anybody who needs dogs, cats, please send them our way. We got to get them out.
Yeah, we're even seeing the other shelters in other counties. We're reaching to them with the same phenomenon that we're dealing with.
Oh yeah.
So.
And usually we have slowed down by this time or have seen an end in sight. It's not like that this year.
I think the economy is showing up.
Yeah. Animal control has changed over the 9 years that I've been there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we do. So we have a county Facebook page, and then we also have a pet finder. After the animals are spayed and neutered and are fully ready to be adopted, they are automatically uploaded onto Pet Finder. And if anybody needs that web address, it's bedfordcountytn.gov. We usually try to write a little story or something in there about the pet. So we are uploaded on 2 different sites.
Let me ask this, after you get these ready for adoption, they've
Yes,
been to the vet and do they have all their shots and they're ready to go, or is that something that?
They do. So all of our animals are fully vaccinated, even with a rabies vaccination. Of course, that's state law, if they're old enough. They are spayed and neutered. All the dogs are microchipped. We're very fortunate to continue to have Dr. Cooper to come down. Sometimes she saves us money if they, have to have like an eye inoculation or a limb taken off. She does that right in our facility. We've been trying to spread the word that Bedford County, that we're very blessed to have a spay and neuter clinic, and people need to utilize that because we get multiple calls a day. Well, hey, can you spay and neuter my pet? Well, no, we can't. We don't have a service permit, nor do we have the staff to do that. But they can for sure use Middle Tennessee Spay and Neuter Clinic. That's a great operation. They even have paperwork you can fill out for low income basis. And, a lot of people are like, I can't afford $200, but they go off of low income. And I wish we could get that out there a little further, and people would really start utilizing it.
Is that the one located right across from the old hospital?
Yes, right before the Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah.
And I.
Yeah, like if you're.
Yeah.
They'll do.
And they do also take sponsors, by the way. You can sponsor
Yes.
their clinic.
Yes, and we take sponsors. If you guys want to come in, I know Commissioner Epperson, she kind of watches our page fairly closely, and she'll help out. And a lot of people do come in and sponsor that can't have an animal, but they will come pay the adoption fee forward, which is why it's very confusing in this time in animal control, because even the waived adoption fees from people paying it forward is not getting them moved like it has been in previous years.
Which is why we think economy is part of it.
Yes.
Because people are
Absolutely.
tired. You know,
Absolutely.
hands are tired.
Any further questions for animal control?
Thank you.
Thank you. It is. Next will be the sheriff's department, and we have part of your report, but it says it's not enclosed. We got it, I guess. Go ahead.
All right, gentlemen. Well, I think the part you do have, but I like to, I guess because I'm proud of it, the Bedford County Sheriff's deputies in the month of August patrolled 2,500 miles each day. 842 warrants were served. So I'm not going to go down through all the individual stuff, but they've been doing good, working hard. Drug Task Force in the month of August, 16 investigations, which involved 34 defendants. $662 or currency were seized from the drug defendants. Pretty much the same as always on the drugs that were confiscated. 8 of the defendants were out on bond, and 3 were on misdemeanor probation for previous arrest. So, a lot of it's repeat stuff. I do not have the court security report, so I can't give that to you. Jail Administrator Ronald Prince is here, but I'm going to give you this. In August, the total jail intakes and releases was 299 males and 129 females for a total 428 correction meals served, 353 snacks, 33,956 meals at a cost of $1.37 per meal. For the juveniles, 261 snacks, 1,050 meals that we serve for the juvenile detention. Present holding is 276 inmates. Evidently, 9 males were sent to TDOC, Tennessee Department of Corrections. We took in, this part Linda likes, $141,845.07 in the month of August, and of that, 115,000 was for state inmates that we're holding. Total work hours for the inmates that are going out on work programs was 3,344. Total work crews were 8. And we saved, and this is calculated at $14 an hour, we saved the city and county in the month of August a total of $46,816. And that is about it.
What about our SROs? How's that going?
It's going well. I believe Chief told me we just lack one more. As far as having enough hired. That has gone better than I thought. I figured we'd be here this time next year talking about it. But we've been real fortunate to get some certified officers. Some of our previous officers have come back. We've actually 2 or 3 city officers, certified officers, have come over, have left the police department and come to work for us that was interested in being SROs. And we've got one right now certified that if it works out, and I think it will, she's certified as well. And then that should, at least as far as having them hired, should have it. We've had a problem somewhat, like everything else, the supply. I know we sent one officer, and this has been a couple of months ago, I guess. But we sent him down to get uniforms, and I think he came back with a belt, and that was it, so. Anyway, but it's coming along.
We're working with the school system while we're in this transition to actually have an officer present while we're ramping up to our full capacity.
That is correct. And the city has been a big help, but I noticed, matter of fact, this morning, I noticed Southside School, and they've always had a city officer there. This morning, there was a sheriff's car there, so I think they're slacking off.
Well, we took, starting this week, we moved two of the new SROs in place. Starting, next Monday, the city will be down to one and two. Hopefully within 20 days, roughly, we'll have all the.
That's great.
Yeah, we've been blessed, for sure, and she's been on top of it and working with Brian Cruz and others and keeping officers in all the schools and getting it transformed over to where we have it all.
Sheriff, I know a while back you talked about the work crews, and there were some changes in I think the state law or what have you that may would restrict allowing the inmates to go out into the community and help. Can you give us a quick update on that one? Where are we? Do we have the same amount of crews going out? Has it changed the way we interact as it pertains to that?
Well, right now, it hasn't changed at all. I don't think this new state law takes place until January, I
Yes, sir.
think. Am I correct on that? And, yeah, it's probably gonna affect some because it's gonna be like you've got to have either a uniformed officer or someone that's been trained and certified. And maybe some costs too. But it doesn't take place. So right now, no, it's no change in what we're doing. But when we get to that point, then there's gonna be, and of course, we've got the ones that go to Tyson. So it's like, who's gonna pay this?
Right now, that's the ankle monitoring if they're not under direct supervision of
Yeah.
an official, right?
Yeah.
So that would still be an option potentially for the county if they needed to in a few spots, or if we
Yeah.
were working with the city on that. There's no reason that wherever they're going wouldn't be responsible for that fee.
Yep.
Would you agree with that?
They'll have to, yeah.
Right, unless it's somebody that we're using. Yeah.
Commissioner.
So I don't fall. Pat Marsh did say that the legislature was gonna make sure on that it wasn't gonna be a burden to the county.
I don't know how they're gonna do that.
We'll see.
They,
We'll see.
well, yeah, that sort of caught everybody by surprise. I'm not real sure how that slipped in, but it did. And I hope maybe they'll change it, but that'll take another year.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Anything?
Do you have any questions for the jail?
Thanks, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Next will be the EMA report.
I don't have anything to add to my report. Two things, though, I'd like to kind of be proud of and be known. So this past week, Bedford County participated in one of the school tabletop drills. There was only 3 done in the state, I believe that's correct. So far, we were one of the counties chosen to be a part of that. Our law enforcement, our fire, our EMA, school folks participated in a tabletop-led exercise with an armed intruder. Unfortunately, I was not able to be there, but I did receive feedback, even when I was gone on vacation, from people that were proud and had good things to say about where we're at in the county. I know we learned some stuff. I've talked to Akia a little bit and some other folks. We learned some. We got some questions, some things we need to look at. But as far as where we're at, they were pleased. They said we were way far ahead than anywhere they've been so far. So our safety groups, our safety teams, what their schools are doing seem to be on point, and we're headed in the right direction and following what we have to do for the new laws and so forth that's coming down the pike, or it's already come down the pike. So I was proud of that. Wish I could have been here. Hated I missed that. But it was 2 thumbs up from everybody. So I just want to let everybody know that. Second thing is, Heather Mathis, I can't think of, what's her name? Mathis. Right. From Channel 5. She used to be a weather person there. She's kind of stepped down, and she's on Talk of the Town now. However, she was a part of having, bringing legislation in about Safer Place, it's called. It's relieving churches, other establishments, the liability of having people to come in for storm shelters and things like that. In our county, as everybody knows, we've had storm shelter program for many, many years. Scott brought that in. And so we were called, we had a regional director meeting the week before I left. They called and asked if they could come down. They knew we had a storm shelter program and wanted to talk to us. So I called Scott out of retirement, said, hey, buddy, can you come down and help me? So he did. Thank you for doing that. But we're going to be featured sometime in the next near future on the Talk of the Town, talking about this storm shelter thing and how Bedford County has been doing it and how we're kind of already been a part of it, but then trying to sell it. Their thing is with this Safer Place is same thing as everybody knows. It used to be called Snowbird or whatever, the little thing that crawls at the bottom. So during severe weather now, they'll have a little crawler that says what shelters are open in the different counties. And we're actually going down tomorrow to talk in a roundtable with other counties in Middle Tennessee area. There's a lot of counties you would not believe that the number of counties that don't offer shelters or somewhere for folks to go. So they're coming in and try to figure out how they can use this new law, how we implement it here. So another thing to be proud of that we got picked to kind of shine on. So I just wanted to add those.
Congratulations.
Yes, indeed. Congratulations.
That's all I have.
What about TAC in our emergency communication system?
Right now, if you're around town, you may see somebody on a tower. We had 2 guys on a tower today down at 911 where we have a tower. They're doing microwaves and running hard lines, setting racks, and getting ready to bring equipment in. They'll be doing that for the next couple of weeks. Then they'll be running some tests to make sure everything's good there, and then we'll start the process of equipment for our public safety people and our radios and things like that will start coming in. So we're on schedule for that right now. But we've had some good weather, so they were pleased. I was actually on a call with them yesterday. So everything is looking good with that.
So that's our totally integrated emergency services system, you might say. Police, fire, EMS, 911, all these folks are on this. And because we were able to transition to this program, we'll be tied to the state as well.
That is correct. It's a statewide, TAC-IN is a statewide program. Prior to opening it up to entities like ourselves for public safety, the Highway Patrol was on it, TDOT was on it, those folks like that. So that's how the Highway Patrol could talk somewhat across the county. They've broadened that out. They're always upgrading that and changing that. So, yes, we'll have that capability also.
And we're able to fund that with ARP funds. So that's something good that comes with something bad with COVID. Because we were in a situation where we had to change out the system we had, and we really didn't have a good path to fund it, and would not have been able to fund such as the gold standard, which would be to go on to the state system that would really put us on a national system if there was a national disaster. Because if Tennessee or when Tennessee plugs in, we would automatically be in as well. Right. That's the concept of that network model. So
that's
we're
correct.
excited to be a part of that.
The goal is to go from state line, top to bottom, east, west. So they're building that out more and more as more and more counties come on. it opens the avenues for other folks. So it is a very good thing to have, even if we have some type of mutual aid, something where we have to respond somewhere else. That's correct. They dropped that.
That's right.
Right, so when it first started, it was very costly, because you had yearly fees, you had to pay for all the equipment that you got, the radios and things like that, user fee. So it kind of started off slow, and the state decided they were going to drop those fees, and when they did, they got a lot of people to come back to get on board with it, because it's a no-brainer, it's a good system. And slowly, surely, there's more and more folks. Coffee County right now is using it. Moore County is looking at using it. We're looking at using it, and several others. So it should be a good thing.
And just so everybody knows, the radio system that we presently are operating off of now has lived its life. A lot of the components are not available as far as parts anymore, and as Josh well knows, we took a lightning hit, probably 6-8 months ago, and it was very difficult to make all this stuff work again. And so it had lived its life. Like I say, the technology changes every 6 months, doesn't it, Josh? But it had lived its life, and that's how come we were able to get to where we're headed now. So, and it's going to be a big learning curve for all of us, I'm afraid.
Well, that's one thing about public safety, and people that know that is they don't like change very much.
Yeah.
We get in our little creature comfort areas, and everybody does in whatever job they're in. So it is going to be a change for some, but that's all right. We'll get it.
We'll get there.
Anything else?
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.
Next will be juvenile detention. And
I don't think she can be here tonight, but her report's
her
in here.
report's enclosed. The next is probation. I don't
Yeah,
see-
and I don't think he could be here tonight. Again, his report's in here.
And just so y'all know, I have observed a couple of different times of his drive-through thing, and it is busy. Not only with just drive-up people, but walk-ins. I mean, I see people lined up out in the parking lot to check in, so.
It's reaching people that weren't compliant otherwise, and the whole idea is to get them compliant and keep them out of the system.
Yeah.
So, it's amazing. I mean, it makes sense when you say it, but I mean, you think about it, there's an awful lot of people that don't have transportation readily available, and they are more close in this general area, not necessarily right here on the square. That's a trek to get out there, just to do that. So we're excited to see what we can do with that, but we recognize that we've got other opportunities in that area as well. So, but I think this is going to be something we're going to need to continue to evolve for sure in some capacity as we go forward. But it's certainly been successful to this point.
Yeah. So, Mr. Mayor, you're talking about is this the building that was just awarded or given to the city?
Nothing's been given to the city. The city, there
Or
was
whatever the transition was, but we are transferring ownership of the building, or?
only if this body decides that. Early on, there was discussion about city and county 4 years ago about the potential of working on something that would allow for a overlook and some other things, but there was no commitment made there. That has to come back to the commission, would have to vote to do that if the time comes. But that is the general area where they're looking at that. That project on the city side stalled for a few years. The grant got denied, I think, one time, and then they had to reapply a couple of times because they had to be the grant recipients to try to do what they were going to do with the walk. We just happened to actually have the space that would allow for some type of park, christen them, and it was all part of our original vision of trying to create excitement downtown. But it's not a done deal unless the county commission agrees to enter into something with the city in regards to that. And I did talk to them about that. They came to see me a few months ago saying that they were further along and they wanted to get some architectural drawings and some engineer looks at some of these things. And I told them at that time that that would have to be revisited by the county, that yes, we had looked at it and talked about it and thought where we shared common interests, we would try to work together. But that there was a lot of things happening in county government now, as well as downtown with parking and what have you, that would have to be revisited at the time. And so I've not had any other contact with them asking for any official vote or decision by the commission, whether we would pass that along or not. Right now, that's fully the possession of the county.
Okay, I appreciate the insight. I mean, it was my understanding, Chris, I don't know, I would hate to lose that location for what it's benefiting, right, the community, but it was my understanding that in some publication that it was a done deal, so I assume that it's not based on what you said, Mr. Mayor.
Correct.
So, okay.
I mean, I'm not aware, I've never brought it to the commission, and I spoke with them, they come to my office to talk about it. I wouldn't have the authority to give it away anyway. It would take the commission doing that. And there might be some reason at some point to look at it, and early on, when there was nothing going on here, we were looking for anything that would create excitement, but they got stalled with some of the grant process at the time, and then there's been a lot of things happen since then. So I think it's certainly worth visiting whenever they kind of figure out exactly what they would need to have to make it work versus, it was a loose concept at the time, utilizing all the space. There may be an opportunity to maybe not have to have all of it. As more things are going on here, even with parking, we're starting to see parking be more of a premium up on the square itself. And when I got here, there was a lot of concern there wouldn't be any cars on the square. And that's not related to me, but I'm just saying because we were transitioning the court system. But the no one's reached our office.
Okay.
So was that this last Thursday? You're talking about, okay, yeah, I don't know. My office has not received anything at this point.
Thank you,
And
Mr.
I'm not
Gill.
aware of any other committee having received anything.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And thank you, Chris.
Any further questions? Next, we'll need a motion to approve the reports as presented.
Motion to approve.
Second. Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Other reports, any other reports to come for this committee? Any old business? Any new business? Announcements? Just remember, I reckon every kid in every school is selling something. But be sure and support them. It all goes to great programs. I know my grandson's involved in baseball, and we bought flowers and selling tickets to something, I don't know, but it's all very important to every one of our schools to support the kids that you choose to support, different programs, and we got some great programs in our school system. This is their way to make the funds to do their projects, so, because it's not all school funded.
Mr. Chairman, there's an event too in War Trace. They're having a car, truck, motorcycle, whatever show there during the field.
Mhm.
So to benefit the volunteer fire department there in War Trace, so it'd be a great opportunity to support that as well this week.
Support that, and then one also coming up in Flat Creek, barbecue, so there's a lot of things going on.
I think it's next Saturday. not
It's
this
next
coming
Saturday, yeah. The next one, be the 30th, yeah. So Linda and Scott,
We'll be there and we'll be full.
And it is good, I can tell you, those boys put in a long time cooking all that, so. All right, any other announcements? Hearing none, we'll motion to adjourn.
Motion.